You are live. We are live. Greetings, greetings, beings of light. Greetings. Thank you for being here with us. Today, for the 11:11 moment of love, I have a very special guest. This is my soul brother, JT. Will you introduce yourself to our people?
Sure, sure. Well, greetings, everyone. Happy 11:11. Happy moments of love, unconditionally, consciously, universally. My name is JT, um, and I'm honored to be here. A little bit about myself includes simply being a perpetual student of life. I have various backgrounds: martial arts, entrepreneurship, spirituality, online technologies, marketing. And so, in a nutshell, I consider myself to be um, a creative mystic, a martial artist focused on integrating the martial arts, and a soulpreneur. And what I mean by that is an entrepreneur that expresses the goodness, the truth, and the beauty of the soul. And so that's essentially what I'm here to do. Combine the three and simply practice the philosophy.
Beautiful. Thank you, JT.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, when thinking about love, unconditional, universal love, how do you see yourself plug into that?
When I think about unconditional love, the way I see myself plugging into that is through its embodiment. I think about um, unconditional love being associated with the frequency, being associated with the vibration, being associated with an energy, and being able to embody that vibration, frequency, and energy such that it is expressed from the heart in collaboration with the belly center and coming from a sense of being able to unite those respective centers in the heart center, the belly center, the forehead center. Um, for me, in practice, in action, allows me to connect with that understanding of universal love in all relationships. Something that also helps me to connect to that is my mantra or the practice of the mantra. A mantra simply is a tool of the mind, as many of you know. And I've come to discover a mantra that resonates with my respective development and being able to not just repeat the mantra frequently, but being able to feel the mantra with a sense of total confidence throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year, additionally, consciously, universally, allows me to tap into that vibration, frequency, and energy of what unconditional love is for me. And the mantra is something that can be considered an offering. And so I like to engage in the mantra. It's ceremonial and such that it's a practice of giving back, making an offering, making a sacred exchange moment by moment, regardless of what's going on the outside. That's what's going on in the inside. And I think that allows me to express this sense of universal love that is within. So that's what comes to mind when you share that question.
Mm, nice. So what I'm hearing is that it's all within you, and then you, this is love essentially. So you embody that; it becomes a state of being for you, and you use the mantra to project that, and then your big heart, obviously, to spread that around you. Beautiful, beautiful. So, how does that guide you in your life? How does love in general guide you in your everyday life and the in life?
Yeah. So when I think about love, I think about the romantic love and then the non-romantic love. And for me, it's a non-romantic, transpersonal love that transcends and includes romantic love. So I'm oriented toward love, that non-romantic love, the love that transcends all. I think about a quote in Latin that I received from Leonardo da Vinci, reading his and studying his work. He says, "Amor vincit omnia." And my apologies to all the Latin scholars if I didn't say that as well as I could have. But essentially, what that means is love conquers everything. And the guiding principle for me um, through all contexts, through all relationships, and being able to to be able to see that classical element that never dies. It's immortal. So being able to be being able to have love as perhaps a guiding light to see through various perspectives and to be able to uh, zoom out and zoom in, knowing when to lead, knowing when to follow, uh, gives me a sense of direction and structure to be able to navigate um, the respective contexts. Love is certainly always an ingredient, an essential ingredient in every moment of the context. Being able to kind of keep that in center as a guiding light and principle allows me to not be so rigid, so to speak, um, when engaging in a respective context. It allows for that understanding of yin and yang and a harmony of all perspectives that are included to be included um, with such respect to love. So that's what comes up for me as you ask that question.
It's beautiful, and I can feel that you do. So, from that perspective, in your opinion, how do we bring that into society? How do we bring love into every aspect of society?
Hmm. Great question. And when I think about that question, I think about if you really want to make your life peaceful, your life loving, or if you want to make the world peaceful rather, and if you want to make strive to make your own life peaceful, strive to make your own life loving. Um, I think that's an important aspect to grasp because, in my opinion, or at least in my understanding and experience, there's a whole universe within us. This is a universe, a living universe in miniature. And there's such harmony that's already taking place in there. There's already a high degree of peace and order and unconditional love. And we don't really have to even know how everything works in there for it to operate. But just being able to bring a sense of awareness for it uh, and being able to tap into the respective source within as we get clarity on our journey and bring peace and love to our journey. For me, doing that in action unconditionally helps to contribute to the well being of the collective. There's a sense of interconnectedness within as well as without. And so, what we do to take care of ourselves in our day to day, 24/7, 365, contributes and influences and impacts the world at large. And so, to do that with a healthy ego, with a healthy level of humility and confidence, allows me to better understand that and contribute to something greater than myself.
Oh,
Haya.
yeah, yeah. So that is true for peace also. The same
Mhm,
principle, the same process.
mhm. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think so. And that's kind of what I've seen over the years as I've essentially become awakened. I've become awakened, interdependent, free, and I've seen these common denominators and patterns, universal patterns, that have helped me to greater realize um, that principle. And so, again, if I want the world to be peaceful, to be loving, well, guess what? I have to model change. I can't expect the world to change if I'm not willing to bring a sense of embodiment of love and peace in my own life. It doesn't make sense. There's an incongruency there. So I have to start here and then utilizing the resources within as well as around, we can transfer that and harmonize that without there.
Yes. Aho. Hayaya.
Ha'aho, hayaya.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your perspective. I always love listening to your wisdom.
Honored to share and thank you for influencing me in such a way.
Is there any other wisdom you would like to share in relation to love, peace?
Um, I think what additionally comes up is the application of it, the practice of it, because it's it's easy to talk about these things. It's easy to read about these things, but that's not really where the fruit really lies. It's a starting point, but it's truly in the application, and it's truly, in my opinion, in the unconditional application. It's important to practice virtue indiscriminately, not just when you feel comfortable, not just when you feel it's convenient to, not just when you are feeling like you're in paradise. Actually, for me, paradise is the practice of indiscriminate or indiscriminate virtue. And the more we can actually do that with a sense of unconditionality, consciously, universality, the harmony of comes into being. And for me, when I tap into that, that yields great success because I'm tapping into that vibration, the energy, the frequency, and it's starting internally. So my quick train of thought there is to discover the goodness of talking about these things, but most importantly, the goodness of these things. And I feel like when we practice this regularly, such that it's a practice that we look forward to doing every single, hopefully throughout the year, and hopefully throughout the decade, and hopefully the rest of our lives, we foster a sense of mastery. And for me, I think that's what it's about. If self transcendence is the end, self mastery is the means. And so being able to practice bringing love to our life, peace to our life, and not just getting caught up in the verbalization of it will help us get to that collective vantage point that I think will allow for all of us to become awakened and flourish and to be harmonizing together.
Beautiful. And can you give us some tips on how you do it
Yeah,
or
sure.
how others do it that you know?
Yeah, so what comes to mind is the idea of stimulus and response. Obviously, we're beings that respond or react to stimulus, and stimulus and response are part of our everyday life and part of our everyday relationship. And so just being able to create the space to uh, create the space between when a stimulus arises, we respond or react, just bringing awareness to that, non-judgment, so to speak, and acceptance of what our initial or tendency to react is. And I think as long as we approach that with a spend and peace and love, then there comes the opportunity to step in between stimulus and response and to respond as opposed to react. And then once we start responding and choosing how we want to respond in any given situation, we get to go ahead and tap into this sense of agency and this inner leader that allows us to consciously choose peace and love in any given moment, regardless of the conditions, regardless of weather, regardless of what is going on externally. We can choose peace and choose love for ourselves internally. And I think the more we practice consciously stepping in between stimulus and response, the more we can truly awaken ourselves to a sense of independence, interdependence, and freedom. So that's one tool that kind of comes to mind. And then the other thought that also comes to mind, and you might look at this as a tool, is the power of breathing, the power of breath, and utilizing breath in between stimulus and response. Using the breath to help us pause, helping us to slow down. If we feel like we're engaging in one direction too much, consider the beauty of going the opposite direction for a moment or two. If we find ourselves going fast, consider the beauty and the gift of going slow for a moment or two. If we feel ourselves tending towards a sense of heat, consider the gift of being immersed in cold, so to speak. And so just finding that space that allows for wholeness to ensue. And wholeness for me ensues when we can consider the feminine and masculine of the given moment, and to be able to express the feminine and the masculine um, in any given moment, and to be able to apply that within stimulus and a response, I think helps us to take charge of this gift of life that has been bestowed upon us, and to really co-create the universe in such a way that we bring paradise here, we bring heaven to earth. And I think if we do that in our lives, hopefully we can inspire the planting of the seeds for others to do that in their lives.
So what I'm hearing is that our mothers were right when they told us to count to 10 before we respond.
Most definitely, indeed. Shout out to all the mothers that certainly did that for their children.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah. Thank you, JT.
Thank
It's
you.
great to have you here.
Honor and gratitude.
Thank you. Just to uh, I'm missing a word here, but if you're curious about JT being here in my space now and everything, we just wrapped up a 3 days workshop, a very intense workshop, and JT is actually my right hand during workshops. So he always spends an additional night here so we can kind of go over it and everything. So we took advantage of that today.
We certainly did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the cold and hot comes. That's why we were laughing. I discovered that JT takes cold showers now in the morning. And I'm like, boom, no, 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 no. Unacceptable. So we have a little family joke about that.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
It was great. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your input with your insights, your wisdom. Always lovely to listen to that. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you benefit from it, contemplate it, see how it can play into your life so you can live in that place of love and peace, which is the ultimate goal. Blessings, blessings. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next Monday. Love, love, love.